Here's the fear almost every community bank CEO has about strategic positioning. If we start preparing, if we build succession plans, document systems, create leadership independence, our best people will think we're selling and they'll leave. And underneath that is an even deeper fear. After all the years I've invested in them, what if one decision hurts the very people I've tried to protect? So many CEOs avoid the hard work. They stay dependent on key people. They don't build systems. They don't formalize succession. They keep everything safe. Here's the paradox. That dependency is exactly what kills value and puts those same people at greater risk. Because the banks that protect their teams best aren't the ones avoiding these conversations. They're the ones that built strength years ago. Today, we're going to talk about how to build that strength and how doing it actually protects your people, whether you ever pursue strategic options or not. And before you think this is about preparing your team for a sale, it's not. It's about building leadership independence and transferable value. So your bank and your people are protected no matter what path you choose. I'm Knutson. I founded and led a community bank as CEO and chairman. I've navigated the strategic decisions you face every day: raising capital, building a strong shareholder base, developing an engaged team, and growing a bank customers proudly called their bank. I've been in your seat through every phase of a bank's life cycle. That perspective is what you'll hear every episode. Let me start by naming the fear directly, because I know every CEO listening has thought this. If I build systems, document processes, develop succession plans, create leadership independence, my best people are going to think I'm preparing to sell, and they're going to leave. I get it. I've been there. You've spent years, maybe decades, building relationships with your team. You've invested blood, sweat, and tears into developing them. You've kissed more than your fair share of toads along the way, looking for the right people. And the last thing you want is to trigger an exodus by doing the very things that would actually make your bank stronger. So let me show you what's really going on. When your bank is overly dependent on you as CEO or any key person, here's what potential buyers see. What happens after closing? If everything runs through you, if you hold all the customer relationships, if you're the credit expert making all the decisions, if you're the bottleneck for operations, you're not demonstrating a valuable bank, you're demonstrating you. And buyers can't buy you. They can only buy what continues without you. Here are the signals buyers watch for. During the process, how often do you have to take calls from the bank answering questions your people should be answering? How hard is it to get your time because you have things that must get done first? During management meetings, how much do your people look to you to answer questions? Can they articulate the bank's strategy, credit philosophy, and customer approach? Or do they defer to you? These are indicators you're not running a bank. You're running a one-person show with a supporting cast. And here's the part that should really concern you. When dependency destroys value, your people suffer the consequences. Lower valuation means less money for shareholders, some of whom may be your employees. Fewer potential buyers means less competition, less leverage, and worse terms. And if the bank struggles because it's too dependent on you, or if you have an unexpected health issue, family emergency, or anything that takes you out of the picture, your people are at risk because the bank is fragile. The banks that protect their teams best are the ones that built leadership independence years before anyone approached them. They have systems that work without any single person, processes that are documented and transferable, leaders who can operate independently, and a culture embedded in the organization, not dependent on any one individual. That's not preparing to sell. That's preparing to succeed, regardless of the path you choose. So if dependency is the problem, what's the solution? The answer might surprise you. Let me tell you something that might sound counterintuitive. Your job as CEO is to make yourself replaceable. You have unique talents: vision, adaptability, judgment, leadership. No one can replicate you exactly. But your purpose does not lie in the tasks you complete. Running a bank generates endless to-do lists: administrative work, business development, operational decisions. Your job is not to complete tasks. Your job is to work on the business, not in it. Systems, processes, leadership. And your people are the key to all three. That's where culture comes in: shared values, attitudes, and beliefs. The CEO's primary responsibility is keeper of the culture, not because the CEO is special, but because the CEO's values become the final decision filter. Strong culture creates consistency, and consistency is what customers trust. Not chaos, not randomness, consistency. Think about McDonald's. They've sold billions of hamburgers without ever winning a cooking award. You know exactly what that cheeseburger will taste like in Washington, Topeka, Tucson, or Fargo. That's consistency. In banking, consistency shows up everywhere: how accounts are opened, how customers are onboarded, how phones are answered, how problems are resolved, even the parking lot, the landscaping, the flag. Every detail communicates culture, and culture without systems is fragile. Now, let me tell you something that might be hard to hear. Your buyer is not buying your culture. They have their own CEO, their systems, their own way of doing things. You can share cultural context early, you should. But beyond that, drop the expectation that your culture will survive intact. What buyers care about is predictable, consistent earnings produced by strong systems and capable people. And that brings us to how you actually protect your people. If leadership independence is the mindset, change and control agreements are the mechanism. CIC agreements protect people financially and stabilize the organization during uncertainty. They prevent talent flight. They preserve earnings. They protect shareholder value. They are not recruiting tools, they are stewardship tools. And yes, this includes the CEO. Your fiduciary duty is to maximize shareholder value ahead of personal job security. That's leadership. First, leadership independence protects your bank no matter what happens. Second, CIC agreements protect against the unexpected. Third, this is what strategic command looks like: strength built early, options preserved, people protected. When we started today, I promised to show you how building leadership independence actually protects your people. What you got was the paradox: dependency kills value and increases risk. You learned why your job is to make yourself replaceable. You learned the CEO's role as keeper of the culture. And you learned the mechanism that protects people financially. The banks that protect their teams best are the ones that built strength years ago. Now you know how. Leadership independence protects your people internally. But when strategic conversations begin, you'll need external expertise. Next episode, the advisor team, the 3 experts every bank CEO needs. If you'd like a clearer sense of how positioned your bank is today, I've created the Community Bank Value Strategic Readiness Score. It's a brief 8-question diagnostic, discreet and without obligation. You'll find it linked in the show notes. And remember, the best decisions come from knowing all your options.